I never thought I'd bury my own blood for a lie. But when Cousin Harlan spat in my face and called me the family whore who'd crawled back from the gutter, I knew the shovel was already in my hand. The penthouse key burned in my pocket like a loaded gun, a secret I'd forged in the fires of their betrayal, waiting for the moment I'd twisted in the lock of their smug little empire. And God help me, as the elevator doors slid open to their gasps, I whispered the truth they'd buried with my innocence. This isn't revenge, it's reclamation. My name is Eleanor Voss, and the last time I stood in that penthouse, I was 22, wide-eyed, and stupid enough to believe family meant forever. It was the summer of 2012, New York City humming like a fever dream outside the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Voss Tower penthouse on Fifth Avenue. Grandpa Elias had built it all. Voss Industries, the steel and glass behemoth that clawed its way from Queens scrapyards to Manhattan boardrooms. He was the old lion, roaring about legacy and loyalty, and we were his cubs. Me, Harlan, my sister Lydia, and a gaggle of cousins who'd grown fat on his scraps. I was the youngest, the miracle baby, after Aunt Clara's stillbirths, shipped off to boarding schools in Connecticut while the family feasted on caviar and closed deals. But I came back for college, hungry to prove I belonged. That's when I met Harlan's best friend, Marcus Hale, tall, Ivy League sharp, with a smile that could sell ice to penguins. He was interning at Voss, charming his way into board meetings, and I fell hard. We were engaged by Christmas, rings exchanged under the Voss crystal chandelier. The family toasted us like we'd invented champagne. But secrets fester in penthouses like mold in the walls. One night, 3 months before the wedding, I found the emails. Marcus, sweet Marcus, funneling Voss prototypes to a rival firm, Technova, run by some Silicon Valley shark named Victor Lang. Not just any prototypes. The Voss Secure Net, Grandpa's crown jewel, a cybersecurity fortress meant to lock down Fortune 500 data. Marcus was selling it for 7 figures, wired straight to an offshore account. And the kicker? Harlan was his inside man, feeding him access codes, covering tracks with forged signatures. I confronted them in the penthouse library, the city lights mocking me through the rain-streaked glass. How could you? I hissed, phone trembling in my hand with the screenshots. Marcus laughed, actually laughed, like I caught him jaywalking. Ellie, baby, it's business. Voss is a dinosaur. Technova's the future. You gonna rat out your own fiancé? Harlan stepped in then, my cousin with his gelled hair and trust fund smirk. Come on, little Dad. Your Uncle Roy knew about it. Elias is slipping. We needed the cash to modernize. You're either with the family or against it. With the family. That's what they called it. I could have gone to Grandpa, blown the whistle, watched them all crash in indictments and headlines. But Grandpa was dying. Pancreatic cancer, the kind that eats you from the inside out. His last words to me, whispered in that sterile hospital room smelling of bleach and regret. Protect the pride, Eleanor. No matter what. So I did. I covered for them. Forged the audit trails myself. Buried the transfers in dummy accounts I'd learned about in my finance classes. I even took the fall when the IRS sniffed around, claimed it was my side hustle gone wrong, a naive intern's mistake. Pleaded guilty to misdemeanor fraud, served 6 months in a federal camp upstate, my record branded like a scarlet letter. Marcus walked, Harlan walked, and the family? They buried Grandpa with a eulogy that painted me as the black sheep who'd wandered off the reservation. Out on probation, I was persona non grata. Lydia, my own sister, changed the locks on our shared apartment. For your own good, Ellie. Can't have you dragging us down. Uncle Roy sent a check, 20 grand, like hush money, and a note, start fresh somewhere else. I did. Drifted to Philly, waitressed at dives, scraped by on night classes in coding and cyber forensics. But the rage? It simmered, a slow boil under my skin. Every night, staring at the ceiling cracks that looked like Harlan's sneer, I plotted. Not wild-eyed vengeance. No, something surgical. American as apple pie and a loaded .45. Reclaim what was mine, make them choke on their own greed. Years blurred. I built a ghost life. Eleanor Hale became Elena Voss and shell companies. Anonymous LLCs nested like Russian dolls. I hacked back into the system, not for Voss, but for me. Technova imploded in 2015. Marcus's future exposed by a whistleblower I anonymously tipped off. He did 18 months in white-collar purgatory, emerged broke and bitter. Harlan? He climbed, married Lydia in a Voss-funded spectacle, popped out trust fund twins. They turned the penthouse into their palace, Grandpa's old study, now a nursery with organic linens and Montessori toys. I watched from afar, a shadow in the machine. By 2020, I'd engineered my return. Voss Industries was fracturing. Uncle Roy's mismanagement bleeding cash, Harlan's innovations tanking stock. But I had the leverage, a digital vault of evidence, timestamps proving their betrayal, plus my own invention, a SecureNet 2.0, unbreakable, licensed quietly to Amazon Web Services for 8 figures. And the penthouse? Grandpa's will had a clause, buried in legalese. If the pride faltered, it reverted to the most loyal cub. Me. I'd paid the back taxes in cash, silent as a grave, deeding it under my ghost name. Now, December 2025, snow dusting the gargoyles of Voss Tower, I was ready. Probation long lifted, record expunged through a pro bono hacker collective I'd funded. I booked the family holiday gala under a fake RSVP, Eleanor Voss, +1, nobody. The elevator ride up was eternity, brass walls reflecting a woman I'd forged in fire. Tailored wool coat over a black sheath dress, hair pulled severe, eyes like polished obsidian. The doors parted to crystal clinks and laughter, the penthouse aglow in twinkling lights and catered excess. Harlan held court by the bar, Lydia on his arm in emerald velvet, their twins chasing Cousin Becca's kids around the baby grand. Uncle Roy nursed a scotch, belly straining his cummerbund, while Aunt Clara cooed over photos on her phone. I stepped out, shedding my coat like snakeskin. Conversation stuttered. Lydia's flute froze mid-sip. Ellie? What the? Harlan turned, face twisting from jovial to jaundice. Holy shit. The prodigal slut returns. Crawling back for scraps. The room inhaled. Becca whispered to her husband, a banker with a comb-over. Uncle Roy's glass hit the marble with a crack. I smiled, slow as venom. Not scraps, Harlan. The whole damn plate. He barked a laugh, stepping forward. Close enough I smelled his bourbon breath. Get out. Before I call security. You think you can waltz in here after what you did? Stealing from Grandpa, landing us in that mess. What I did. My voice cut like glass. Let's talk about what you did, cousin. SecureNet. Technova. Ring any bells? Murmurs rippled. Lydia paled. Ellie not here. Not now. Oh, now's perfect. I pulled the flash drive from my clutch, dangling it like a noose. I've got the logs. The wires. Your signatures, Harlan. Marcus's too, if anyone's curious where the groom went. Harlan's eyes bulged. You lying bitch. That's ancient history. Forged, just like your tears in court. I leaned in, voice a whisper for him alone. Ancient. Tell that to the SEC. Or the DA. Felony territory now, with the statute ticking. He grabbed my wrist, hard enough to bruise. You threatening family? Family. I wrenched free, laughing cold. You spat on that when you let me rot for your greed. The room fractured then. Becca herding kids to the nursery. Aunt Clara dabbing tears. Uncle Roy bellowing for quiet. Lydia shot Harlan a look, the first crack in their porcelain marriage. Harlan, what is she talking about? Nothing, he snarled. She's deranged. Been gone 5 years, probably on the pipe. I could have ended it there, dropped the drive and watched them scatter like roaches. But no, this was the fracture, the first split in their smug monolith. Deranged? Maybe, but smart enough to own this view now. I jangled the key, brass, engraved VV for Voss Vault, from my pocket. Harlan's laugh died. What the hell is that? Your eviction notice. I strode to the console table, where the deed lay under a poinsettia. Slid it out, unfolded the crisp vellum. Grandpa's codicil. Pride falters. Loyal cub claims the den. That's me, Harlan. Eleanor Voss, sole proprietor of Penthouse 80. Gasps echoed. Uncle Roy snatched the paper, eyes scanning like a man drowning. This can't. Canon is. Paid up through 2030. Your leases? Cancelled. Pack your Louis Vuittons and go. Chaos bloomed. Harlan lunged, but Becca's husband, ever the lawyer, blocked him. Harlan, stop. If it's legit. It ain't. Harlan roared, face purple. She's bluffing. Sue her ass. Lydia touched his arm, voice small. But if it's not? The twins' school, the Hamptons. I watched them unravel. The betrayal I'd swallowed, now there's to choke on. But deep down, in the pit where rage met regret, I wondered, Was this justice, or just another lie I'd tell myself to sleep at night? The snow thickened outside, blanketing the city in white forgiveness. Inside, the gala curdled to confrontation. Uncle Roy called his attorney. Mine, actually, poached last year with a better offer. Harlan paced, muttering about crazy bitch cousins, while Lydia herded the kids, shooting me glances that mixed pity and poison. I poured myself a scotch, Grandpa's favorite, peaty and punishing, and settled into his old armchair by the fire. The flames danced like accusations. Sit, I said to the room. Or stand. But you're hearing this. They did, a semicircle of resentment. I started with the emails, projecting the drive's contents onto the smart screen. Harlan's inbox, Marcus's transfers, my forged cover. Gasps turned to groans. Aunt Clara wept openly. Why, Harlan? Elias trusted you. He was weak. Harlan exploded, dipping into fossils while Technova lapped us. I saved the company. You gutted it, I countered, and hung me out to dry. Lydia spoke then, voice trembling. Ellie, you covered for us? Took the hit. Like a good little cub. Bitterness laced my words. Grandpa's last wish. Protect the pride. Uncle Roy slumped. Eleanor, girl. We thought you skimmed for drugs or some boy. Never dreamed. Save it. I waved him off. You cashed the check. Mailed it like alms to a beggar. The admissions piled like snowdrifts. Harlan confessed the full scheme. How he'd roped Marcus in over poker nights. How Lydia knew but stayed silent for the ring. Family first, she murmured, echoing their old mantra. Hours bled. By midnight, the caterers fled, leaving half-eaten canapes and shattered illusions. Harlan stormed to the balcony, railing at the skyline. This isn't over, Ellie. I'll bury you in court. Try it, I called. My lawyers eat yours for breakfast. As dawn grayed the windows, they trickled out. Uncle Roy with a handshake that felt like surrender, Aunt Clara with a hug smelling of Chanel No. 5 and sorrow. Lydia lingered, twins asleep in her arms. I'm sorry, sis. For everything. Words like ash in my mouth. Sorry doesn't deed back years. She nodded, eyes wet. Will you visit? For the kids. I almost said yes. Almost. We'll see. Alone then, Penthouse echoing my heels on marble, I locked the doors. The key turned smooth, sealing my victory. But victory tastes like bile when it's soaked in blood. Your own, mostly. I poured another scotch, toasting the ghost in the mirror. Eleanor Voss, avenger or architect of her own cage. Little did I know, the real fracture was just beginning. Harlan's rage wasn't bluster, it was a blueprint. And in the Voss pride, betrayal wasn't a one-way street. Waking in the penthouse felt like squatting in a mausoleum. Grandpa's ghost in every shadow, Harlan's venom in the vents. First light filtered through the blinds, gilding the Hudson in steel. I brewed coffee strong as regret, black, and scrolled the family group chat exploding with fallout. Traitor, from Harlan. We need to talk, from Uncle Roy. Lydia's emojis, a broken heart, a prayer hands. I ignored them, diving into my ritual, Voss Tower's bowels. As owner now, I had access codes, cameras, logs, the digital veins pulsing with secrets. Harlan's office on 45, he logged in at 2 a.m., downloading files. Secure net remnants? Or dirt on me? Paranoia prickled, but I pushed it down. This was my board now. By noon, the lawyer, Silas Grant, silver-tongued southerner I'd lured from Roy with equity, arrived with eviction papers. Ironclad, Miss Voss. But messy. Harlan's got pull. He'll countersue for emotional distress, alienation of affection, the works. Let him. I signed with a flourish. What's the play? Starve him out. Cut utilities, freeze assets tied to the building. Psychological warfare. American as a filibuster. We executed that afternoon. Harlan's Amex, linked to Voss perks, declined at the club. Lydia's salon appointment, canceled for account issues. Petty? Hell yes. But pettiness is the appetizer to revenge's main course. Word spread like flu in a subway. Becca called, voice honeyed venom. Ellie, darling, this is uncalled for. Family doesn't evict family. Family doesn't frame family. I shot back. Tell Harlan to lawyer up. She did. By evening, process servers swarmed the lobby, papers flying like confetti at a funeral. Harlan countersued, defamation, fraud, claiming I'd forged the codicil. Laughable, but it tied me in depositions, dragging old wounds into fluorescent courtrooms. That's when the antagonist sharpened his claws. Victor Lang, Technova's fallen king, surfaced like a bad sequel. I'd thought him jailed post-implosion, but no, house arrest in his Malibu bunker, plotting comebacks. He emailed from a burner. Eleanor Voss. The ghost who ghosted me. Harlan says hello. Let's chat about that vault of yours. Chills. Harlan had flipped, trading my dirt for Lang's muscle. A meet at a midtown diner, neutral ground, vinyl booths sticky with grease. Lang arrived in a wheelchair, stroke from stress, ironic justice, flanked by goons in ill-fitting suits. Miss Voss. Or Hale. Hard to track a chameleon. Cut the poetry. I slid into the booth, recorder whirring in my purse. What do you want? Revenge, same as you. His smile was a scar. Harlan came crawling. Said you hold the keys to his kingdom. In exchange for dirt. Your little hack fund that tipped the feds on Technova. He offers Voss secrets. But I want more. Your SecureNet 2.0. Hand it over, or I bury you with Marcus's corpse. Marcus. The name hit like a gut punch. He's dead. Overdose. Last year. Blamed you to the end. Lang leaned in, breath minty over decay. Harlan's desperate. Flips like a politician. Me to you, you to the feds. But he's mine now. Join or burn. I laughed, masking the tremor. Join a cripple and a coward? Pass. His eyes narrowed. Then expect visits. From friends. The diner door jingled threats as I left. Back in the penthouse, I fortified. New firewalls, a PI on retainer. But sleep evaded. Dreams replaying Marcus's laugh. Harlan's grab. Was I the villain now? Evicting kin for a grudge? The line blurred. Controversial as a Trump tweet. Lydia showed next, unannounced. Twins in tow. Ellie, please. The baby's due in spring. We can't afford this fight. I buzzed her up, stealing for tears. She entered like a specter, boys clinging to her legs. Harlan's. Changed. Paranoid. Thinks you're out to destroy us. He destroyed me first. I knelt, offering the older twin a cookie from the jar, Grandpa's recipe, oatmeal raisin with walnuts. The boy took it shyly, eyes wide. What's your name, champ? Wyatt. He munched, innocent as fresh snow. Lydia watched, throat working. He hits me sometimes. When the pressure builds. Says it's your fault, for coming back, stirring the pot. Rage flared, hot and holy. Leave him. Now. Penthouse, guest room's yours. She recoiled. And betray my husband, the father of my. Betray the man who betrayed us all. I stood, voice whip crack. You knew, Lydia, about the scheme. Stayed silent for the dress, the vows. Tears spilled. I was scared. Young. Now. God. Ellie, the scandal. The kids. Scandal fades. Bruises don't. I touched her arm, sister to sister, the bond fraying but not snapped. One call to a shelter, or here. Your choice. She wavered. Controversial decision hanging like fog. I need time. Time Harlan stole that night. My phone buzzed at 3 a.m. Unknown number. Video attachment. Grainy footage. Lydia, drunk at a bar, spilling to a friend about my vault. Ellie's got it all. Proof. Patents. Harlan screwed if she talks. The friend? Lang's goon mic'd up. Blackmail. Harlan's flip again. Pitting sister against sister for leverage. I confronted her at dawn. Video playing on loop. Lydia. Who was he? Her face crumbled. A mistake. Harlan pushed, said talk or lose the house. I didn't know it was wired. Lies on lies. Heart cracking. I hit send. Eviction accelerated. Utilities cut by noon. Get out. Before I regret this mercy. She begged, twins wailing, but I held firm. The door clicked shut, echoing my isolation. Was I saving her or damning us both? The pride split further. Factions forming. Uncle Roy neutral, Becca siding with Harlan for stability, Aunt Clara whispering prayers. Then the real unraveling. A Voss board leak. SecureNet 2.0 specs, half-baked, splashed on Bloomberg. Harlan's doing, or Lang's. Stock plummeted 15%, Uncle Roy calling in panic. Eleanor, pull the trigger. Expose them, end this. Expose? The nuclear option. But doing so meant admitting my cover-up, my complicity. Jail again. No. I hedged, anonymous tips to regulators, buying time. Harlan escalated, cornering me in the lobby amid holiday shoppers. You think you're queen now? I'll drag you down with me, Ellie. Tell the world what you really are. A thief who fucked her way to forgiveness. His words landed like slaps, controversial in their cruelty, dredging Marcus's ghost. Fucked my way? That's your playbook, cousin. Security hauled him off, but the seed planted doubt. Was my revenge tainted by the bed I'd shared? The decisions piled, each grayer than the last. By week's end, the penthouse felt like a siege. Delivery drones grounded, mail screened. Lang's visits came, slashed tires, dead rats on the stoop. I armed up, pepper spray, a concealed carry permit rushed through Connecticut connections. Lydia vanished, holed up with Becca. Rumors swirled, divorce papers drawn, Harlan's affair resurfacing. The antagonist wove his web, flips constant, ally to Uncle Roy one call, saboteur the next. I stared at the skyline, city pulsing indifferent. Reclamation? Or ruination? The hook dug deeper, pulling me toward the climax where sides blurred, and no one walked clean. Christmas Eve, and the penthouse reeked of pine and paranoia. I decked minimal halls, Grandpa's heirloom ornaments on a solitary tree, lights casting long shadows like fingers accusing. The city below twinkled festive, but up here, it was war. Harlan's lawsuit grinding in discovery, Lang's shadows circling, Lydia's silence a wound. Uncle Roy brokered the parley, neutral ground his club on Park Avenue. Leather armchairs, cigar haze, old money insulating the blows. Family summit, he called it, voice gravel from too many scotches. I arrived armored in cashmere and contempt, Silas at my elbow. Harlan was there, haggard in a rumpled suit, Lydia absent. Flu, he claimed, eyes darting. Lang rolled and laughed, wheelchair humming like a threat, his nurse packing heat under scrubs. Merry fucking Christmas, Harlan spat, slamming a folder. Your forgeries, Ellie. Codified. Grandpa never make you shit. Silas snorted. Amateur hour. Holographic will. Notarized by Judge Harlan Voss Sr. Your grandfather, ironically. Harlan flushed. Bought and paid. You poisoned him. Whispered in his ear when he was doped on morphine. Lies. But doubt flickered, had I? Grandpa's bedside confessions, my tears urging legacy matters. Controversial, the sway of grief. Lang interrupted, voice oily. Enough foreplay. Eleanor, the code. Or Harlan walks with Voss shares. My shares, post his flip. Flip. Uncle Roy leaned in. Boy, you sold us to this shark? Harlan sneered. Better than rotting under Eleanor's boot. She took the fall once. Why not again? The room tilted. Again. I echoed. You'd frame me twice? For the twins. Legacy. His eyes, bloodshot, held a zealot's fire. You get it, cousin. Pride above all. Lydia's text buzzed then, at the penthouse. Need you. Hurry. Trap. Or truce. I bolted, hailing a cab through slushy streets, heart-hammering carols. The elevator ascended eternal, doors opening to chaos. Lydia on the foyer floor, bloodied lip, twins screaming. He hit me, Harlan. Said you'd ruined us, that I'd pay. I knelt, cradling her. Why here? Why now? Wyatt drew your keychain. Said Aunt Ellie has the magic key. I chose. She sobbed. But he's coming. With Lang. Sirens in my blood. I barricaded. Couch against doors. Phone to 911. But Harlan's code. He'd cloned my fob weeks back, during a forgotten lunch. The service entrance clicked. They burst in. Harlan feral, Lang directing like a puppet master. End it, boy? The drive, now. Harlan advanced, fireplace poker in hand. Give it up, Ellie, or I bash your traitorous skull. Lydia screamed, shielding the boys. Uncle Roy's call connected, police en route, but time fractured. I dodged, poker whistling air, grabbing a crystal decanter. Shattered on Harlan's shoulder, shards glittering like stars. He roared, swinging wild. Lang's nurse drew, silencer coughing. Bullet grazed my arm, fire blooming, but I lunged, tackling Harlan. We rolled, grunts and curses, his hands on my throat. For family, he gargled. Vision spotting, I need free, poker forgotten. The drive, clutch floor. I scrambled, fingers closing as cops stormed, tasers popping. Lang's man dropped, Harlan cuffed mid-snarl. Medics swarmed, Lydia hysterical, twins hidden in the tree skirt. I slumped against the wall, arm tourniquet, blood-staining snowmen on the carpet. No gore fest, just the metallic tang of survival. Interrogations followed, sterile rooms under fluorescence. Harlan confessed. Lang's coercion, flips for survival. He had dirt on me, the old scam. Said expose or elevate. Lydia corroborated, bruises blooming like evidence. But the twist coiled. Lang's wheelchair? Prop. He rose in holding, striding to plea. Mobility aid, officer. For the sympathy. Misdirection, the schemer's art. And me? My vault spilled in the fray, cover-up exposed. DA's office circled, old plea deal unraveling. Accessory after the fact, they murmured. Jail loomed, ironic echo. Uncle Roy visited, face ashen. Pull out, girl. Drop charges, bury it. Bury. I laughed, bitter. Like you buried me? Family, he pleaded. The word soured. Controversial climax. Prosecute, and pride shatters. Harlan jailed, Voss bankrupt, Lydia widowed in scandal. Mercy, and I swing too, complicit ghost. I chose. Gray. Plea bargain. Harlan community service. Lang deported, his green card revoked. My record sealed with Voss donation to cyber fraud victims. No winners, just survivors picking shrapnel. The penthouse cleared by New Year's. Harlan to a rental in Jersey. Lydia to a divorce lawyer with my card. Becca mediated, splitting assets like a bitter pie. Aunt Clara hosted awkward dinners, toasts to healing. But the reckoning lingered. Marcus's grave, visited in secret. Philly Potter's field, stone unmarked. Forgive, I whispered to wind. No answer. Harlan cornered me once. Post-court, rain sheeting Columbus Circle. You won, cousin. But at what cost? We're monsters, all of us. Some more than others. I walked away, umbrella shielding tears. The pride mended crooked. Lydia bunked with me. Twins calling Auntie. Voss stabilized under my interim CEO hat. SecureNet 3.0 launching to applause. Yet tension hummed, dark undercurrent. Lang's email from exile. Flips are forever, Eleanor. Watch your back. Was it over? Or just intermission? The hook twisted, leaving sides to debate. Hero or hypocrite? Redeemer or ruiner? Spring thawed New York. Cherry blossoms bleeding pink under concrete skies. But the penthouse chill clung like damp regret. I'd sold the couch, blood-stained relic, to a Jersey thrift, replaced it with mid-century brutalism. Sharp lines for sharp lessons. Lydia settled in the East Wing. Therapy sessions and co-parenting apps bridging the Harlan Gulf. The twins? Wyatt sketched magic keys. Little Theo babbled anti-strong. Domesticity, American dream repackaged. Yoga mats in the gym, organic deliveries at dawn. Voss board crowned me permanent CEO by April. Stock rebounding on SecureNet hype. Headlines dubbed me the Voss Vixen. Controversial spin. Phoenix or pariah? Talk shows beckoned. CNN panels dissecting family feuds in the C-suite. I demurred, letting Silas spin. Resilience, not revenge. But echoes reverberated. Harlan, in his Jersey walk-up, penned op-eds for the Post. Cousin's coup. How one woman's grudge gutted a dynasty. Readers split. Team Eleanor trending with feminist cheers. Voss betrayed rallying old guard. Aunt Clara forwarded fan mail. Death threats interspersed like weeds. Lang's shadow stretched longest. Deported to Vancouver. Canadian citizenship via a hidden marriage. He rebuilt. Technova 2.0 whispering in dark web forums. My PI tailed ghosts. Burner pings near Voss servers. Fishing lures baited with Marcus's old alias. Flips eternal. He'd turn state's evidence for a visa or hire hackers for payback. Lydia cracked first. Over Merlot on the terrace. Hudson glittering like fool's gold. Ellie, I saw Harlan. Last week. He wants the boys for weekends. My glass paused. And said you're poison. That the penthouse is cursed. Grandpa's ghost hates you for it. Curse? I snorted. Tell him the curse is his conscience. She twisted her napkin. But what if we were wrong? Covering for them. Me staying silent. Maybe jail was our penance. Penance. The word hooked deep. Controversial absolution. We chose pride over truth. Now truth's the price. Nights, I prowled the halls. Ghosts convening. Grandpa's growl. Protect. Marcus's laugh fading to overdose silence. I'd borne their crime, but mine? The cover-up, the hacks, the evictions. No saint, just survivor stacking sins. The twist dropped Memorial Day weekend, barbecue smoke veiling Central Park. Becca's text, emergency. Harlan's place. Now, I raced, Lydia in tow, cab weaving holiday traffic. Door ajar, stench of stale beer and despair. Harlan sprawled on linoleum, wrists slit in the tub, shallow cuts, survival bid or cry. Note pinned to mirror. Ellie wins. Pride's dead. Tell the boy's daddy's sorry. Ambulance wailed, stomach pumped, psych hold incoming. Lydia collapsed, wailing. I held her, while rising. His flip final, self-sabotage, framing me in suicide shadow. She drove me to it. Headlines would scream. Cops questioned. Hostile takeover, Miss Voss. Any influence? None. Lie half-true. My revenge the catalyst, but his greed the spark. Hospital vigil stretched, family orbiting like bruised planets. Uncle Roy muttered of settlements. Aunt Clara prayed rosaries. Becca confessed, he planned it. To martyr himself, sue from the grave. Martyrs bleed messy. Harlan stabilized, but the damage etched. Vostok dipped on exec suicide attempt. Board whispering ousters. Lydia filed for full custody, my signature her shield. Lang capitalized, email taunting. Your cousin's collapse? My whisper. Debt collectors lean hard when stocks tank. Proof attached. Harlan's IOUs to Vancouver shells, flips funding his exile empire. Rage reignited, surgical now. I greenlit the nuke. Full vault dumped to FBI. Anonymous via Silas's cutouts. Lang's network unraveled. Arrests and dawn raids. Technova shuddered again. Harlan's debts surfaced in therapy transcripts. His schemes rot exposed. But the cost? Me, subpoenaed. Old plea cracked open, prosecutors circling. Obstruction, Voss. Your cover-up enabled it all. Controversial crossroads. Fight, and pride crumbles. Lydia loses alimony. Twins uprooted, Voss folds. Fold, and ghosts win. Lang walks on technicals, Harlan spins victim. I chose the twist. Truth serum, public. Press conference in the Penthouse atrium, cameras flashing like judgment. I was betrayed, I said, voice steady. By blood, by love. I covered to protect. Foolish, felonious. Today, I confess, I buried the crime. Punish me. Gasps rippled. Harlan, watching from rehab, texted Lydia. She's done it. We're free. Flip again, gratitude? Or glee? Sentencing came swift. Probation, community service at a women's shelter, Voss donating millions to fraud prevention. No bars, but bars of another kind. Public eye, endless debates. Heroic atonement versus calculated PR. Sides split eternal. Readers arguing in comment wars. Was Eleanor's revenge righteous reckoning or ruthless ruin? Summer deepened. Penthouse blooming with Lydia's herbs on the sill. Twins' laughter echoing. Harlan emerged mended. Supervised visits in parks. Eyes haunted. You saved me, Ellie. By breaking me. Or broke us all. I replied. No hugs, just nods. Truce in the trenches. Lang. Extradited. Trial pending. His last flip. Testimony against cartel ties. Trading for time. Echoes fade, but never silent. Now, fall nips the air. Leaves carpeting fifth like confetti of closure. I stand at the window. Keychain jangling. Magic to Wyatt. Millstone to me. Reclamation complete. But at what price? Happy ending? Tragic footnote? You decide. The pride endures, fractured but fierce. American as it gets. Betrayal. Comeback. The endless flip. And in the quiet, Grandpa's whisper. Well done, cub. Or was it what have you done?